Spider-Man gets grounded in Spider-Man issue 3. This comic was written by Brian Michael Bendis with art by Sarah Pichelli. So, alright, let's talk about this. So, last issue, Miles' grandmother showed up to his house and, listen, you need to get your grades back up, or else. So, this is finally the wrath of Gloria, and she really does start laying down the line, or laying out the law. That's the right term, yeah. And she takes his phone away. She tells him to go to his room and do his homework. Miles is in his room, and there's some what's interesting is that there's a lot of arguing happening downstairs between the parents, and the grandmother's trying to speculate what's happening, is he using drugs? Is he a drug dealer? What's going on? She's trying to rationalize why Miles is going down the path that he is, and I think Miles, his love interest, shows up, Lana from the first issue, and she's wondering where Miles is, and the mom's like, oh, he's kind of indisposed right now, and then the grandmother shows up, oh, whoa, you're selling him drugs? What, you're selling him uppers, downers, the pot? I love it when old people refer to drugs as the, and then insert, drug, like the pot. That's always great, but she shuts the door on her face, and Lana's like, okay, whatever. And as she's walking by, Kamala Khan shows up, Miss Marvel, who is currently on the new Avengers team with Miles. So she elongates her neck, and then she surprises Miles in his bedroom. And she's asking him what he's doing, and we had a superhero neighborhood recon scheduled. And he's like, oh, sorry, I didn't know we had that. And then they had their dialogue. It's fun to see them together. And it's interesting that Kamala knows Miles is his secret identity, but he doesn't know hers, which is kind of weird. I wonder why there's not that level of trust. Maybe it's just, I don't know, Kamala has issue with that. But she's saying look, play hooky with me, and he's like, no. And then his grandmother shows up who are you talking to? And he says no one. And Kamala actually shrinks down, and she sneaks out. And this is when, Miles' grandmother, she really shows her compassion, and she's saying that, she just wants what's best for him, and if she's tough on him, it's not for lack of her love for Miles. And Kamala resizes and then, leaves, saying rain check for the team up. And she yells out, stay off the drugs. Meanwhile, in I think it's Brooklyn, we see Catwoman meet up with Hammerhead. I don't think we've seen Hammerhead for a while, but he's obviously eating at this bar, and Felicia's talking to him. And he's like, listen, have you heard of the new Spider-Man? He's like, what new Spider-Man? What are you talking about? You mean there's... God damn, the city is just filled with spider people. And she's like, yeah, well, listen, you and me, get the old gang back together. Let's make some money, earn some respect points, take down the Spider-Man. I'll tell you all about him. And he's like, sure. I don't have anything better to do. And we cut to Miles in classroom, and it's a really interesting conversation where this teacher's talking about what's the difference between Inhumans and mutants, and she's basically leading the class into an announcement that there's a new student in the class, and he's also a mutant. A character named Fabio Mende? Medina? Yeah, I think that's how you say Medina. And Genki freaks out, and he's like, oh, golden balls, it's golden balls. Golden balls in our school, this is so cool. He's like my favorite, after Spider-Man, but, and that's where the comic ends. So, Miles gets a new classmate, and it seems like the villains are trying to, they're really banding together and trying to take out Miles. So we're going to have to see in issue 4. I like the cover for issue 4. It's like this POV shot of Miles, using his web shooters against Hammerhead, Black Cat, and there's a third person there who's in this red sort of armor. I don't know who that is, but hopefully they'll explain it in that issue. I think I'll give this issue a 7 out of 10. It had pretty good art. I liked I liked the grandmother character. She was a little bit oblivious, but oblivious in the way of like, oh, he must be doing the drugs, and like that's the only way that she came off oblivious. But not a really action-packed issue. It's very much a setup issue, and I felt like Kamala was in and out pretty quick. But in the cover of this image is like them like hanging out, so it's a little bit misleading. But then again, most comic covers are misleading. So, but regardless, I still really enjoyed this. It was a funny issue, and setting up a lot of different elements that's probably going to happen in maybe issues 4 or 5 later to come. So yeah, I would say definitely pick it up.